And now, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, here we are again, another day committed to being your consumer advocate, helping you understand your buying decisions, making you more street smart here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We love to help you win in any marketplace. That is our goal. And we got a great lineup for you today. We've got our tech expert, Nate Ginter, going to be on the program, Chief Technology Officer with Vine IT. We also have Chuck Peterson, Suncoast Roofing. Chuck's been on the program for a long time, 6-7 years now, I believe, and a great contractor. We're going to get some tips from him when it comes to Suncoast Roofing and Solar. And we have James Grant from ServPro, as well as Anthony Worms, the general manager with ServPro as well, here in studio. We're going to jump into this great content after we touch on just a couple of our hot listings. As you know, I'm the owner of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. We like to feature our real estate listings live on air to help our sellers profit more and sell faster, get that maximum exposure for anybody out there looking to maximize the profit on the sale of their real estate. 14121 7th Street in Dade City. This is a great opportunity. Check this out, y'all. This is a restaurant available in Dade City. It's on the main strip, and you've got a 1-bedroom, 1-bath apartment on site, so you could have your manager live on site. You've got 2 dining rooms, both. So you got a downstairs traditional setup, and then you've got a banquet style setup in the second level upstairs. Plenty of parking available as well. Established restaurant since 1990, and the owner's just been operating it from a 3-hour lunch window. So just imagine if you take over and you start running your dinner specials, you have a band come in, you do maybe some karaoke, something like that. Great opportunity looking for an entrepreneur that's really to make an investment here. 14121 7th Street in Dade City. Very hustling and bustling, growing area too. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
This is God's country.
All right, welcome back. James Grant in the house, ServPro. Welcome in, sir.
Hey, Brandon, how you doing today?
Excellent. Blessed
Good.
and highly favored.
Good.
Yes, sir. And yourself?
I'm doing excellent.
Awesome, man.
Sunny day, not cold. I'm feeling really good.
Yeah. And the bowl game was pretty cool. We were kind of recapping that a little bit, but that was neat. You guys sponsored a major bowl.
The bowl game was excellent.
Yeah.
Air Force, Louisville, and like we talked before, I did a little sponsorship with the Palm Harbor firefighters.
Nice.
Bought them lunch. We watched the game. They enjoyed that very much. So had a really good time.
That's cool. Yeah, support the firefighters.
Absolutely.
It's a good group of people right there.
Absolutely.
And welcome in, Anthony. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Good to meet you.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, definitely. First time.
Yeah, absolutely. So you are general manager, and tell us a little bit about what your role is, and a little bit about ServPro. I think a lot of people know the tagline, "Like it never happened."
And we make it like it never even happened. So we deal with a lot of insurance. 90% of our job is focused on insurance claims and policies. You could kind of say that we're an insurance expert at some cases. I guess one of the biggest myths out there is, hey, do we really work for the insurance? Well, realistically, we work for the homeowner.
Okay.
First and foremost.
Yep.
And that kind of gets twisted when we go through all this because the insurance is involved. They're kind of like a third-party extension. Also, the homeowner's involved. They're going through a vulnerable stage. They're, sad, upset. Their house just flooded. We're coming in and ripping it out, emergency style. They're really not too sure what to do or how to do it.
Yep.
And so, the adjuster has some information, but they don't have as much information as they need or want to give them. They kind of just blank code it a little bit. So I'm here to kind of, justify the process for that.
Yeah. It's a challenging time. People, they're getting dispersed. They're making coffee in the bathroom instead of the kitchen or whatever it might be. Maybe they're displaced into a hotel room in some cases. But yeah, so when disaster strikes, that's when you think about ServPro, and then that leads into the mold conversation. I know you do fogging, and mold is a silent killer. Sometimes people they don't have to have a disaster. They may not even know it's there because in Florida it's so humid, and so you may have mold behind the baseboards or drywall, and then all of a sudden now you're wondering, hey, I keep getting sick. I wonder why I got this cough. And then the doctor's saying, hey, is there anything going on at home? Right. You've probably seen cases like that too.
It's an indoor air quality issue.
Right.
So, You come in there, they're experiencing headaches, nausea, fatigue. We can go in there and remediate the mold if there's some visual. But, there's two companies out there. There's an assessment company and a remediation company. Assessment company comes in, tests for the mold, does controlled quality samples outside, with the air, and then make sure that the indoor air quality sample is below that air quality sample. Now, if there's a spike, then obviously you got some growth within your home, and then they write a protocol for me to remediate that.
Yeah.
Now, if there's visible mold, it's eating off your wall or something, I can demo it 2 feet past any visible signs, sand, treat, and seal, fog, Hepa Vac, and clean, and then get out of there, and then, and call it a wrap. And then we can go into the repairs.
Now, what is Hepa Vac?
Hepa Vacuuming, it's a fine filtered vacuum. So
Okay.
basically, it's microscopic is the mold. It's below a 0.2. So our Hepa Vacs have condensed filters that actually trap the mold within.
Oh, wow.
We also have air scrubbers that are going simultaneously. They're doing about 200 air cycles in exchange in about 3 to 5 day periods. So,
Yeah.
as we wipe down the mold and stuff, it gets into the air, and then it cycles through the air scrubbers and the Hepa vacuuming to actually eliminate any spores. So we have to come out with a 0 count on certain molds. Some of the molds you can have a little bit higher count because it's just natural in the air. You walk outside, we have mold all around us. We're in a tropical forest. So
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Tropical here. If you just joined us, we're talking with James Grant, ServPro, Anthony Worms as well here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, both from ServPro. Website, servprowesttampa.com. Expert contributors here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We love to help you as a consumer advocate, and we want you to think about this show as the hub of your financial, your business, your real estate, mortgage, tech, self-defense, so many different ways we help you here. 80 different categories of consumer advocates that come on the show and spend some time with us visiting here, talking about the number one goal that we always think about is, what are the unknowns out there? In every industry, there's some unknowns, there's some challenges that people face. So we want to establish that and be that consumer advocate. Reach out to the hotline. We'd love to put you in touch with ServPro or any of our other expert contributors, attorneys, CPAs, financial advisors, all types of great home service providers. 813-917-1894.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
813-917-1894. You can call or text that line. It's an off-air number, and we're going to put you in touch with whatever you need. We want to be that super connector for you here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. All right, James Grant in the house as well, ServPro. James, what else is topical right now? We're kind of coming into that spring season. Where do you want to go with that?
One of the things I want to talk about is our tagline, like it never even happened. How does that happen? One of the things that is that we always expect the unexpected.
Yeah.
Okay. And certain things that we do, not the fact that all our techs are certified through the IRCRC, which is a certifying agency in the restoration business. We also do some things with what we call as emergency readiness profiles. Now, these profiles will help you locate emergency shutoff valves, whether it be electrical, water, plumbing, whatever the emergency situation is. I come out, take a picture of these things, and then put it together in a folder for you. And basically, so if most people are in a panic when that stuff happened.
Right.
They don't know where to go, don't know what to do. House is flooding all over the place, how to turn it off.
Yep.
Just go to that pamphlet. It's right there. You can keep it. You can always refer back to it. And the best part about this is absolutely a free service.
Now, typically, isn't the water typically out by the curb, like in a little? You open up the kind of a hatch type deal, and you just give it a turn to the right, normally righty tighty, right?
But you know what the problem is half the time?
What's that?
You go out there and you still need that bar to turn it. It's not, you can't turn it with your hand.
You can't. Okay.
So they're looking for that.
Right.
Where's
Okay.
this? Where's that?
So emergency cutoff. Now, is there one closer to the house that they can access, or from there it's just each individual appliance
Right.
or sink? Okay.
Yeah.
So under
Yeah.
the sink, boom,
Yeah.
turn it.
there. But sometimes you can't get to that one. It might
Right.
be underwater.
Right.
So you need to turn up the main valve
Yeah.
to shut it off to everything.
Yeah,
else.
usually pipes that, if we experience a water damage, it's
Yeah.
usually within the wall.
Got
and
it.
so we can't
Correct.
turn off that angle stop valve that's connecting the plumbing supply lines. So
Right.
we have to cut off the main so there's no water flowing in.
Right.
So, the Emergency Ready program really helps us diagnose what your property is all about. And
Yep.
it's more for commercial use too. So
Yeah.
you go in and you have 20,000 units. We know exactly where the emergency shutoff is. We can we can, we're on minutes and seconds versus, seconds versus minutes. So,
Yeah.
we need to know exactly where these things are to eliminate and mitigate the least amount of damage.
Yeah, that's important, Anthony. And one of the things too you mentioned earlier about insurance, I think that's a big thing. There's so many misconceptions. We got Chuck coming on next talking about the roofing side, and so that is a recurring theme that we see. How to deal with the insurance companies, who files the claim, what is a public adjuster, do we use a public adjuster? Very confusing for people.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
And going into it, the policy owner files the claim. Yeah, they hold the policy. If the insurance doesn't pay one of these contractors that does the mold remediation or the water mitigation, the financial responsibility is on the homeowner. At the end of the day, we sign the contract with the homeowner. We're saying that we work with the vendor, we'll collect deductible, and if that money is not received in 30, 60, 90 days, they got to do their due diligence to try to collect those funds as well. Or, they got to come out of pocket and kind of wait for the insurance to reimburse.
Right.
Every insurance is a little bit different. Some insurances don't have mold. Mold's usually a $10,000 cap, and if the whole house is filled with mold, then you're probably going to exceed that cap, unfortunately. And
so most insurances don't, or you said every insurance doesn't have mold? What?
Every insurance may or may not have mold.
Yeah.
It just depends on your policy.
So that's something to check on.
A lot of people just don't even read their policy. They
Right.
just sign the dotted line and then move on, and then I have to be the bearer of bad news. Hey,
Yeah.
you don't have ALE, alternative living expenses.
Okay.
So you can't,
That's a good one
if you
too,
need
yeah.
to get out of your house for 2 or 3 weeks, well, you're going to have to pay for that.
Yeah.
If you have mold and you don't have mold coverage, and it's a lot of mold, like $5,000-$6,000 worth, you're going to have to pay for that, unfortunately.
Wow.
So
yeah, those are things to think about. Talk to your insurance guy. By the way, we work with Doug over at Strategic Insurance. Doug Levi does a great job for us, and all the folks that have called in for the show, we've had nothing but great feedback. Doug and Kayla over at Strategic Insurances. But these are things to think about. The mold. Do you have a policy for that? ALE, that's a new one. Assisted. Say it again. Alternative living expenses. So you got to move out to a hotel. There's a lot of things to consider when it comes to that space. And then here's something I wanted to ask you about as well, because I know this comes up in the roofing situation. We've heard with Chuck and Suncoast, assignment of benefits. Does that come across your desk from time to time?
AOB. And I wouldn't trust a company that wants you to sign over those benefits to them.
Right.
It's your benefits. You're the homeowner. It's your policy. You sign an AOB, it's more like the other companies trying to take advantage of you and max out your policy. That's kind of what the public adjuster does too. I'm not bashing them. They're useful in certain cases, but they take a percentage at that.
Got it.
They take an 18% cut and they try to get as much off the policy as possible.
So they have, not a fiduciary. They're in a position where they're saying, hey, the more that we can max this out, our percentage is higher.
18%, man.
Yeah.
Whatever you can do. 100,000, 200,000, 300,000.
That's the public adjuster?
Yeah.
18%.
Yeah, it's a range, but it's usually around 18%. It could be 10, 20, depending on who you are and what firm
this
you're
is good
working with.
information. Great information. James Grant, ServPro, Anthony Worms, General Manager, ServPro here. West Tampa. We're talking about Tarpon and West Tampa franchise specifically here in, of course, Tampa Bay. And James, back to you. So these are things to consider. These are consumer advocate tips. What would you say is another, top item that people have just misconceptions? Maybe it's, deductibles, dealing with insurances, or something along those lines. What are some of the processes that you're seeing people are confused about?
Well, one of the things most consumers are confused about is the certification part as far as our technicians being certified.
Yeah.
A lot of companies go out there don't have certifications out there. They're out there. There's a number of different organizations out there. One thing about ServPro is all our technicians are certified in whatever, whether it be water restoration, mold restoration, whatever it might be, that specific topic. They have a piece of paper and they've been through classes.
Yeah.
They go through CE courses to refresh because the market changes all the time.
That's
Technique
important.
changes all the time. So that's one of the things that people should always look for. I mean, people are definitely, when they're Googling, they Google everything now. So hey, if this person's not and on ours, we are certified. Our franchise is actually one of the certifieds through IRC too. So,
nice.
So those are good things to give you some peace of mind.
Yeah.
And that we know what we're doing.
That's cool.
So
awesome. So website ServProWestTampa.com. ServProWestTampa.com. Anthony, final thought back to you.
Yeah, if anybody needed any information, just give us a shout. I'm always available at 813-855-0888. Yeah, I would love to talk anything or everything. I like to be that kind of insurance consultant, that, liaison between what they're experiencing and how I can help them benefit from it. And try to get them through that vulnerable stage, because it really is, it's not like you're shopping around and trying to redo your kitchen. It's something happened and now you have to do it. And you just don't really know what to do or how to do it. And we can't bid on things that are unforeseen. So some things are unforeseen in that situation. And you just got to have patience with it and just be that squeaky wheel to the insurance company.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, hey, gentlemen, that's some good tips today. Thank you so much for bringing that information.
Well, let me throw this out here too, Brandon.
Do it.
Entrepreneur Magazine, you know who that is.
Yeah.
Have ranked ServPro as the #1 restoration company this year.
Big news. That's awesome,
that's
man.
Huge.
Congratulations.
That is very huge. So
good
just
stuff.
to let people know that.
All right. Awesome, man. Yeah. Good stuff. All right. Thanks for coming in, fellas. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right,
We're going to take a quick break. We come back. Chuck Peterson, Suncoast Roofing and Solar here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Chuck Peterson, longtime friend of the program. Coming up, tech expert as well, Nate Ginter. He's got some great information. You got fishing kits that bypass MFA protections are growing in popularity. U.S. tech firms hunt for cheap home-based hires in Latin America. Some good stuff coming up here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you've been listening to the phenomenal Brandon Rhymes, the Consumer Quarterback Show.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here for Cleaning Commandos here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Cleaning Commandos are hiring, and they're offering competitive wages, flexible hours, relaxed atmosphere, and a sign-on bonus. Reach out if you'd like a career with the Cleaning Commandos here in Tampa Bay. Info at cleaningcommandosllc.com or call 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550. Cleaning Commandos, Consumer Quarterback Show. Hey, Brandon Rhymes here. We are looking for real estate investors. We've got a new relationship bringing us a tremendous amount of off-market real estate investment opportunities. So text the word investor to our hotline, 813-750-0550. Off-market real estate investment opportunities. Text investor to 813-750-0550. Brandon Rhymes here, Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, looking for real estate investors. Send us a text. Have you desired more income and more freedom in your life? Now is your time. Keller Williams Realty has just launched our own real estate school, and you can get licensed for free. I'm Brandon Rhymes, host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, owner of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. And for the first 3 people who reach out, I will personally coach you. 813-917-1894. Call or text 813-917-1894. ConsumerQB.com. ConsumerQB.com.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty. We like to feature our real estate listings, help our sellers profit more and sell faster. We got a property in Tarpon Springs, 820 Pinellas Avenue. This is a commercial property, corner lot location. It's a nice single-family home currently, but it could be easily converted to a attorney's office, insurance office, potentially anything in the professional space. 820 Pinellas Avenue, Tarpon Springs, and it's a single-family home, quarter-acre lot close to downtown. So you got that walkability there, so you can walk to restaurants, over to the main strip there, and the boat docks and the sponge docks there. So great property at 820 Pinellas Avenue in Tarpon Springs. And also 4823 Ebtide Lane. This is number 405. You got a penthouse available here. Condo on the river with beautiful, gorgeous views. This is a penthouse available on the Cody River, views of the Gulf of Mexico. 1,100 square feet, 1 bedroom, 2 bath, but it could be easily converted back to a 2 bedroom. And you've got your own penthouse suite available here. 4823 Ebtide Lane, Unit 405 in Port Richey. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
somewhere sunny and 75.
And we're back here in studio. So we've got Chuck Peterson, Suncoast Roofing, on the line. Hey, Chuck.
How you doing, Brandon?
Doing well, thank you. And yourself?
Oh, hanging in there, trying to, make it through this lovely weather we're having today.
Yes, sir. That's right. Suncoast Roofing, you guys have been longtime friends of the program here. We often talk about these contractor tips and, things to do, things to avoid. And of course, supply chain is another challenging area that a lot of contractors are having problems with, combined with the labor force, too.
Yeah, it's a challenge every day. It seems like not just our industry, but across the board these days.
Yeah. When you look at, we're just talking about dealing with insurance companies. So we've got ServPro, the boys from ServPro here in the house, James Grant and Anthony Worms. They were talking about some of the different topics that we've talked about before. When you think about, insurance situations, dealing with public adjusters, roofers, we talked about assignment of benefits. What are some of your tips in that space?
Well, number one, if you're a homeowner and you don't really have a really good handle on what your insurance is, other than your buddy is an insurance agent that sold you the policy, you really should think about hiring a because that's what they do for a living, and they have a much better chance of getting you everything you need at the numbers you need to get replaced at than you do trying to go it alone with the insurance company. The insurance company's going to send their adjuster out who works for them, and, it's just a battle. It's just a battle.
So the phone broke up there a little bit. So what? Say that again.
So if you're a homeowner
Yep.
and you don't really know anything about insurance,
Yep.
you just have insurance because your buddy who's the insurance agent told you to buy this kind of insurance for your house,
Right.
and you have a claim, a storm claim, you need to go to a public adjuster. We have a couple really, really good ones we would refer you to, but you don't have the expertise to battle the insurance company. And these days, the insurance companies are very well funded and very well prepared to battle you on your claim.
Right.
So you need somebody on your side that actually does know what they're doing on the insurance policies and how to take that battle back to the insurance company.
Yeah, because a lot of times, these insurance companies, that they like to take the premium, they like to receive those monthly payments, but then when it does come time to pay out, it seems like they look for ways sometimes to skate around payments. Is that what you're seeing in your line of work?
Not 100%, but a lot. Yeah, there's times where they do the right thing, and we shouldn't say anything bad about that.
Right.
But there's a lot of times, where they try to, they just try to take advantage of a homeowner because they can, because
Right.
the homeowner just doesn't have any idea what their rights are, what their job costs should be. They just don't have the information they need to have or the understanding of the system they need to have
Right.
in order to take that claim to the length it should go.
Yeah, exactly. And those are the things we like to explore, those different areas. And we're talking with Chuck Peterson here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, Suncoast Roofing and Solar. So now they're building in these solar panels into the roof shingles. Is that right?
Yes.
Tiles.
They haven't got any Florida product approval, but Tesla and GAF both have a panel that they're trying to get past the wind loads. So it's coming.
Interesting. So that's an space that I think people have a lot of interest in, because if we can add that to the roof, then that's obviously heating up during the day. In most cases, you got to have that certain exposure piece. But you guys are offering that now, Suncoast Roofing and Solar. So we're talking more about that. We got our short term. Sorry about that, Chuck. We got a short segment here, and then we're going to come back into our longer segment. Chuck Peterson, Suncoast Roofing on the Consumer Quarterback Show. More from Chuck coming up here on the program. And also Nate Ginter, tech expert, coming in. We're going to talk about all kinds of things happening in that metaverse and phishing kits and tech firms hunting for jobs overseas. Stay with us right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
This is Chris Voss, former FBI lead hostage negotiator and owner of the Black Swan Group, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show, hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. Chuck, stand by. We're just resetting or organizing in there. We're right here. We're in between segments. We're just resetting to continue, okay? Can you hear me, Chuck?
I can't. It's like you're in a tunnel 1,000 miles away.
How about now? Is he ready in there or not?
Yes, sir.
You ready,
Sorry,
buddy?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, giving a shout out to Replenish IV Solutions, longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show, Stephen and Lisa Gunn, and say hello to them. Let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. Replenish IV Solutions. They have nurses on site, on staff, that will deliver safe and effective way to restore your body's nutrients with crucial vitamins and minerals, optimal conditions. They have multiple Bay Area locations as well. Replenish IV Solutions. They will actually come to you as well. I've had them over to my house, so it's pretty cool. Sit on the couch, get your vitamin infusion drip as you're watching TV or typing away on your smartphone or something like that. Replenish IV Solutions. Let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. Take them up on those special offers and incentives. We got Nate Ginter coming up on the program, our tech expert, and we do have Chuck Peterson here on the line as well. Chuck, Suncoast Roofing. Chuck, talk a little bit about the supply chain. Are you having challenges getting tiles and and I wanted to also get into the different types of roofing as well.
All right, so the tiles is always been a lead time of a couple months, and it got to where it was about 6 months out, but now it's down to about 4 months out. So
wow,
I guess some improvement, right?
Yeah.
The flat roof products that we have, the TPO and the ISO board, which is a foam-based product, and the glue for that is has gone from being available to being 2 to 3 months out. Now, that had been 6 months out as well, so it's scaled back up some.
Wow.
Shingles are pretty readily available if you're willing to take the 5 or 6 main colors that both the big manufacturers are producing. You can get the shingles usually in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So shingles are pretty back up and running. Everything's running, of course, but it's just, the supply is out. I mean, demand is outstripped supply, and, hopefully they're catching up before storm season hits again.
Yeah, it seems like, this is an interesting scenario that could play out, too. If some HOAs are saying, hey, no, you have to use tile, and the homeowners are saying, well, hey, I've got, an active leak here. I've got challenges with my roof. We
Right.
need to put shingles on. I wonder how that would play out.
Well, if it's an HOA mandated product, I mean, we could get tile that might not match the color they've got.
Right.
So we can repair probably anything at any point. There's enough material for that. But when you're getting a large size house with tile on it, and they're getting a specific color, and if that color isn't sitting on the floor, the run times are 3 to 4 months out.
Yeah.
Before you get that run again.
Gotcha.
So it's just it's a never ending battle. Not that I don't there's no solution to it really, other than if somebody spent $1 billion and built some more plants, but that's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, we need to onshore some stuff. I mean, I've been hearing more and more about these companies over the years offshoring. We need to onshore, bring some of the manufacturing back into the United States, good old USA. Yeah. We're talking with Chuck Peterson. Go ahead, bud.
I would say 90% of your roof products are made here.
Okay.
All the shingles are U.S. made. All the tile, all the concrete tile is U.S. made. The clay tile comes from South America because there's not a plant here. But
Okay.
that's a small percentage. The TPO and the ISO board, all that is pretty well produced here. All the coatings, Dow Chemicals is the biggest producer of that, and it's all based here. So 95% of the roofing products come from here.
Well, thank God. That's such a good thing to hear.
So, some of the other products in your house, internally wise, like your furniture and all the stuff inside a house, probably not much. But the actual products on your roof are 95% U.S.
Yeah, so much furniture nowadays too. It's like comes in
good God.
comes in from China, and it's put it together, or it's partially assembled. Kind of easy to assemble, but a lot of the furniture seems to come from China. Now, Chuck Peterson here on the program, Suncoast Roofing and Solar. Now, Chuck, you also do commercial projects as well. We're not just strictly talking residential here.
Oh, that's correct. I'm actually headed to one of the diamond resorts that's owned by Hilton to meet the guys over there and go over some roofing things over there. So we do quite a bit of commercial work. So if anybody out there in the listening zone has commercial property, we do all the types of work on a commercial product as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. Some of those can be pretty big projects too. I know at one point there was a big church that you were working on, or we had put you in touch with, and so churches, all types of folks can reach out. Reach out to the hotline. We'd love to put you in touch with Chuck and his team. They do a great job. They have that GAF warranty as well. 813-917-1894. Reach out to the hotline, 813-917-1894. Chuck Peterson. Talk about that warranty, because that's such a cool thing. I can't remember if it's 50 or 40-year warranty.
So for the residential folks, it's a 50-year warranty on the shingles. GAF backs that. They make the shingle.
Wow.
Florida building codes require the shingles to be really good and to take a high wind load that we get down here in Florida. So the shingles we have down here are a little different than most of the country. If you put that on a commercial property, an apartment complex or a condo complex, it actually comes with a 40-year warranty.
Okay.
So pretty amazing. You don't equate that to a shingle, but GAF is the largest manufacturer in the U.S. and the biggest player in the market, and that's their warranty.
Yeah.
So they're pretty sure of their product.
That's awesome, man. All right, Chuck. Well, that's about our time for today, my friend. I appreciate you calling into the program and being a consumer advocate out there and an expert contributor for the Consumer Quarterback Show. Appreciate you, man.
All right, Big B. Appreciate it, man. I thank you.
Take care, buddy. All
See you,
right,
man.
we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we got Nate Ginter in the house. He's the Chief Technology Officer at Vine IT. We've got some great topics to talk about here. Monitoring of Trump internet traffic sparks new dispute in the Durham probe. This out of the Wall Street Journal. And other stories about phishing as well, and more technology and all that good stuff coming up with Nate Ginter here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. For more information, go to consumerqb.com.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
This is Diane Vance with Fairway Independent Mortgage, a member of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Please give me a call for any of your mortgage needs. We do all sorts of loans. If you would like information on a mortgage, you can text me or call me at 727-647-8199. I will take care of all your mortgage needs. Go to my website at dianevance.com.
Ian Beckles here with my man Brandon Rhymes, a.k.a. the real estate quarterback. Brandon, what's happening with the market?
Thanks, Ian. We are in a low inventory market, so any of our listeners are homeowners and would like a free comparable market analysis or a 2.5% listing, we will honor this for the first 3 listeners who call or text in
813-917-1894.
Free CMA and a 2.5% real estate listing. Check out consumerqb.com.
Looking for a venue to host your next business or family event? Make it Largo Event Center. The Consumer Quarterback Show has used the Largo Event Center, and the hall and service you get is fantastic. Over 8,500 square feet of meeting space, perfect for events, expos, and trade shows. Upstairs offers space for smaller meetings and groups to include use of their lounge and game room. Plenty of room outside for car shows or food truck events and concerts. Largo Event Center is just west of US 19 on 126th Avenue. For booking and details, visit largoeventcenter.com. That's largoeventcenter.com. Or call Guy at 727-776-3442.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team. Keller Williams Realty got a hot property here in Tampa Bay, 5014 Pompano Drive. Got a waterfront, beautiful property here, canal access to the bay. This is in Gulf Harbors, Newport Richey area. Beautifully remodeled home, pool, corner lot, fenced-in backyard, community pool, got community beach and clubhouse as well, boat ramps. Great opportunity to own real estate here. 5014 Pompano Drive, Newport Richey, 1,700 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, 2-car garage, waterfront home with bay access and a private boat dock and lift. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
This is God's country.
All right, Nate Ginter's in the house, one of my favorite expert contributors to have in. We always get deep into some fun stuff. All right, let's kick it off with monitoring of Trump internet traffic sparks new dispute in Durham probe.
So, whenever I see a topic, I hit the political arena where you hear words like DNS and, Russian cell phones and things like that. As a tech geek, I get interested.
Yeah.
So I always want to dig into it. And it's funny how bad the coverage usually is, or people hone in on like a specific thing here or there without a greater understanding of the whole. And so I spent a little time reading both the document that Mr. Durham put out and the response from Mr. Sassman. He's the one that's being accused of a couple of things there, their response. And, there's a lot of terms being thrown around, but it basically boils down to a couple of meetings that this lawyer had where he allegedly, and I say allegedly because all the stuff that's in the news, nobody knows yet. This isn't a trial. There's no evidence presented in the documentation that's come out. So, if I forget to say alleged at some point, please forgive me.
Right, exactly.
But this is alleged. So it basically alleges that in multiple meetings that he was functioning on behalf of another entity, potentially the Clinton campaign, and had data both about the Trump Tower, an unnamed health organization, which was interesting, and some data from the executive office of the president, which is the White House network. The interesting thing about that, and what's caught a lot of people off guard is some of the data that he's allegedly, presenting is data that would have been gathered by another friend of his who has a contract with the government to provide internet services and internet-related services to the White House. So, it's pretty much not disputed that the contract that this company had went back to the Obama administration. It wasn't started when Trump got in office or around that time. But my question still is, I don't care what president was started under. If a gentleman who has a contract with something as important as White House internet services is giving that information to a third party, there's data handling procedures for that. There's a lot of different things that should be steps that should be followed. You don't just hand that to somebody and say, here, go try to hand this off to anybody who will listen. That's very high level information. I mean, the potentially the president's internet, traffic patterns, I think somebody, should definitely keep an eye on. So that's actually the most concerning part to me. And not many people were even bringing that up. Again, I don't care whether it was about one president or the other. If that is going on and somebody with that responsibility is doing those things, I'd like to have that looked at.
Well, you've got to think about who those persons' ties are to, right? And that's the whole thing with, they say, like the deep state. It's a lot of the staffers that just won't cooperate with the other side, or they're going to do things traditionally the way that they were told under that 8-year run of Obama, et cetera.
Right.
So it's interesting, though, and I've got a clip on this. So let me play this clip here. This is a 53-second clip.
Well, according to the charges, that was a lie.
Wire.
He was presenting the information on behalf of 2 clients, and one of those clients was the Hillary Clinton campaign.
So Durham says that this so-called evidence of collusion was being provided by a Clinton campaign operative who then lied about his connections with the campaign.
Exactly, yeah. And now Durham says he was working with cyber researchers and employees from multiple internet companies, including an influential tech executive, to compile this supposed evidence.
All right, so he's working with a tech executive. What do we know about this individual?
So we don't know the name yet. Federal documents so far just refer to them as Tech Executive 1. But the FBI is alleging that Sussman worked with this executive to obtain internet data from Trump in some sketchy ways. These documents are pretty explosive. According to the filing, and I'm quoting here, Tech Executive 1 exploited his access to non-public and/or proprietary internet data and, quote, also enlisted the assistance of researchers at a U.S.-based university who were receiving and analyzing large amounts of internet data as part of a government contract. The special counsel alleges that this tech executive, and again quoting, tasked these researchers to mine internet data to establish an inference and narrative tying then candidate Trump to Russia in hopes of, quote, pleasing certain VIPs, including the Clinton campaign.
Yeah, so it's interesting when you look at it from what's coming out so far, and for Durham to put something out like this, he's basically putting his name, his reputation on the line, and he's coming out and saying, yeah, there's a tech executive 1 and these people that are colluding, that are saying Trump's related to Russia. Meanwhile, we got laptops with the current president's son, we know has all these ties. Like, we got so much stuff going on up there. It's like we need to throw them all out, man.
Well, what's crazy, and the part that's not being paid attention to a lot is like the universities that are involved with this. So this is private companies, public contracts that we're paying for, and information that they call it non-public, information. So that's confidential information.
Exactly.
So what's the process by which this gentleman got a hold of that?
Yeah.
What's the chain of custody there, and who authorized him to do so? I think it's so that process worries me. My smoking gun in this whole thing is there is one thing in the indictment where it actually specifically says that Mr. Sassman, that's the gentleman, the lawyer that's on the hot seat here, was paid by the Clinton campaign, billed the Clinton campaign for research into potential Trump-Russian banks. In their response statement, they said that absolutely never happened. So that piece is either a yes or a no.
Right, where's the records?
So in the court where Judge Nate is presiding, that's the piece that I'm, even beyond the tech stuff, that I'm really honing in on.
Right.
If they've got the goods and they've got bill, you have to keep those records as a lawyer for many years. So they're not gone. They don't just disappear. And, most law firms that I know, when they put their cases together and they do their billing, it's itemized. So if there's an itemized bill that shows up and, hey, this is what it was for, I'm going to be inclined to believe the rest of it is also on the true side. So
yeah, exactly. We're talking with Nate Ginter here, Vine IT, cybersecurity company right here in Tampa Bay. Can help you with your business, home personal computers as well, protect those computers, and also for companies. He comes in and kind of gives you an audit. He can go through and help you with that. So he's a wealth of information. So we love to talk about these different things that are kind of in the scope of this tech space. Something else you brought in, Nate. You brought the phishing kits that bypass MFA protection are growing in popularity.
Sure. So, as I've said many times on this very program, MFA or multi-factor, not a little acronym, very simple concept. When you log into your bank, they text you a code, or you've got an app where you type in a code from as an extra layer of security beyond a username and password. There are some softwares out there that are being sold on the dark web that basically they put an overlay. So if you're going to sign into Microsoft Office, if you click on a link from this email, you think you're on the Microsoft Office website because it looks like it, but it's actually the hacker site, and they're using the information that you put in and actually getting in between that MFA code data.
Wow.
So, it's something that is... It's out there. It is something that's growing in prevalence, but it's still a very small, amount of the ways that people are compromised. It's almost always by clicking on a bad link or actually typing your data in on a bad website. So, but this is by no means a knock on MFA. Just know, always be on the lookout. If you get an email that says there's a new login detected from somewhere, if you haven't logged into that system, take a look at it and, just make sure, if all of a sudden, Microsoft or Google says, hey, you just logged in, and you're like, I haven't touched anything, in an hour or logged in anywhere, to just take an extra minute and make sure that it's not coming from somewhere in Crete or, Estonia, and because they'll tell you where it's coming from on those login attempts.
Yeah, that's a good tip. So the phishing kits, MFA protection. So that's a good one, Nate. And lastly, we've got U.S. tech firms hunt for cheap home-based hires in Latin America. This kind of stuff just frustrates you too, because you can use the internet. Of course, there's a competitive advantage there, but too many companies, especially when it comes to manufacturing, this so much I don't mind as much, because you're still utilizing intellectual capital in the form of humans with their power, their what they can do on the internet. But the offshoring of a lot of these jobs, you got to think twice about it.
Well, so we're a U.S.-based company right here in St. Pete, and we hire all American labor. And one of the ways that some of these are getting quite good, but it's just places don't care. So I always say, do business with people that do business the way you want it done, and have a little respect for an American business.
Right.
If you find somebody who's outsourcing things, and this is in any arena,
yep.
Where they're outsourcing their support to India, Dell has all American-based support for their high-end products.
Nice.
And that's something that they put a lot of money and effort into, and that's why I do business with them and recommend them. HP is a great company, but boy, their support, I've had 8-hour-long phone sessions just trying to get a warranty exchange on things, dealing with their overseas stuff. So,
yeah.
It's one of those things. It's a trend that's out there. But, like I said, we always like to buy American where we can. And, hey, labor's one of the easiest places to do that.
Right.
Hire an American is important.
Yeah, if you spend an extra $15-$20, whatever the deal is, and if it's an hourly thing, okay, yeah, let's pay an extra $1 or $2. Then you get, of course, in my opinion, a better clientele.
Absolutely.
Whether that's your employee, your stakeholder, let's say, and then and then offshoring. Look where that's got us, right? Even manufacturing. That's an extreme example, but manufacturing is killing us.
I think the only way to solve that is legislation that says, hey, if you're headquartered in America, but all of your work, or let's say 80% of your workforce is overseas, we tax you as a foreign company.
Yeah, incentivize the good,
exactly,
and bring the hammer down on the bad.
Yeah,
I'm all with you on that. Nate Ginter here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, Chief Technology Officer at Vine IT, vineit.com, and N. Ginter at vineit.com. So Nate, yeah, when you think about where we're at in society, man, a lot of tech, a lot of smartphones. You see this metaverse stuff popping up. Man, artificial intelligence. There's a lot to talk about.
With great power comes great responsibility, Brad. You got to keep an eye on these things.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's that transhumanism movement out there. And, a lot of the elites are pushing that. And by the way, guess who's pushing inflation right now, right? It's the elites, because their assets are going to be valued more and their debt's going to be worth less.
Brandon, how dare you blame people who spend money they don't have for raising inflation rates, sir?
Exactly.
I don't see the connection.
Yeah, right? Exactly. So, hey, what do we need to do, man? We got to pull together the middle class. We got to help each other out. We got to support small businesses, local businesses here in Tampa Bay.
Absolutely. And, we always try to source locally for everything that we can. We partner with local firms for things like voiceover, internet phone lines. And, even, if we've got projects coming up, we need extra labor. We try to get it locally rather than go into even a national, big chain.
Yeah. It's so important to do that. Here's another tech scenario playing out. Freezing trucker donations. I got a quick clip here.
This is about following the money. This is about stopping the financing of these illegal blockades. We are today serving notice. If your truck is being used in these illegal blockades, your corporate accounts will be frozen.
And Trudeau is also appearing to weaponize the same sort of powers to regulate cryptocurrency.
We are broadening the scope of Canada's anti-money laundering and terrorist financing rules, so that they cover crowdfunding platforms and the payment service providers they use.
Yeah, so these truckers are standing up for freedom. They're saying, "Hey, we're tired of these mass mandates," and they're just, they're peacefully protesting. They're not waving swastikas and like they try to say. What's your take on that?
So the specific GoFundMe freezes that happened, that's fraud. You can't take money from people it's one thing if you want to return the money,
right?
Or say, hey, this person is not allowed on our platform. That's their choice as a private business. But to say that you're going to take that money and put it elsewhere,
redistribute it.
Yes, they drew the ire of several governors for that, and they will be there. The thing that bothers me more than that is that last statement about regulating cryptocurrency, and they always use terrorism and drug funding, all these things. By the way, using cryptocurrency to do those things is already illegal.
Right.
It's not like it suddenly becomes legal because you're doing it with Bitcoin.
Yeah.
The act of financing terrorism, illegal. We don't need a law for that.
Right.
Financing drug operations, you can do it with the good old U.S. dollar, still illegal.
Yeah.
So we don't need to make stuff double illegal.
And you see that video of Trudeau, quoting and saying how Castro was his mentor or one of his favorite people. I mean, come on. It's Canada. Man, they're in a downward spiral. Our neighbors to the north. It's troubling.
Absolutely. As an e-gamer, I play with a lot of them, and a lot of interesting thought up there.
They're frustrated, I bet. Hey, Nate, always a pleasure, my friend. And another great show here. We had ServPro and Suncoast Roofing on as well. And we want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Do something kind for one another. Be a force for good in the community. Follow us online. We'd love to connect with you at Brandon Rhymes 1 on Instagram, Twitter, and Getter. And, of course, the Real Estate Quarterback Show page out there on social media. We'll see you next time. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Call Brandon Rhymes at 813-917-1894. That's 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show.